since it's wet, I'm gonna try to go a little slower than I normally do. And then with me holding the GoPro stick, also makes it slightly kind of like instead of focusing on the trail, I'm focusing on the camera more. Whoa. Crooked Pine Trail. With the one wheel, if you ever, the trails are the most fun to go on, but what you have to keep in mind is the roots. If the trail is too rooty, you got too big rocks or big roots sticking out, it is going to be harder to maneuver around the trail, and sometimes you have to get out of your one wheel to go around certain obstacles. So when you're doing trails, it's best to do like easy trails, like green trails, maybe some blues, but nothing. I would not take this on the Black Diamond Trail. It'd just be too much of a headache. With Onewheel Pint, you will get what do they call range anxiety. You can make 6 to 8 miles on Onewheel Pint, but on the trails you're not going to make that. You will the most I ever made on the trail, and that was smooth trails, is about 4.6 miles. And I guess the reason for that is the traction is not great. There's more ups and downs on the trail. So I made 1.1 miles so far, and I'm still good. 79% of battery charge left. And another thing I noticed about Onewheel is it will buzz you in when it's 50% of battery juice left, but that's kind of misleading, because when I noticed that once you get to 10% of battery life, the battery drains faster than what they predict. So like if you ever want to turn around, at 50%, okay, go ahead and turn around, but you're probably not going to make it back fully. So what I do is at 58% is when I start to head back, unless you want to carry the board for a certain distance, which Onewheel Pint comes with a handle, which I kind of consider it sort of like a workout, since I usually do forget to look at the battery. So at 50% it makes a little noise if it's connected to your phone, and that's when I know to turn back around. So also, if you did one wheel for the first time, your ankles and your calf muscles will hurt tremendously. I'm starting to feel already a little pain, which I haven't been one wheeling for a while. But if you do it on the regular basis, it seems like your muscles get stronger in those areas, and it gets easier. Like I don't feel pain muscles when one wheeling. So it's kind of like your body gets used to the thing. why did I get the Onewheel Pint instead of XR for the trails? One of the factors is price point. Onewheel XR is almost twice as much. Another thing, smaller tire, I think it gives me better carving, turning properties. I can turn faster. And one of the things nobody ever talks about is speed. Onewheel Pint is not as fast as Onewheel XR. It starts to incorporate the safety. I think it kicks you up when you go too fast. I forgot what the mechanism is called, but about the top speed for Onewheel Pint is 14-15 miles per hour is where you reach your top speed. And for me, that's the speed where you can kind of, even if you hit that speed, where you can safely jump off. I know we can run like maybe for a small period of time about 9-10 miles per hour, and that's the safe. You know, once you go over that 10 miles per hour, it's almost like it's harder to catch yourself. You can actually hurt yourself if you go too fast and go nosedive on the board. So I feel like with maybe Onewheel XR, which, you know, if you're young, if you're a pro, you could get that, and you can go faster. It's got a bigger wheel, so I bet it goes over the roots better. But with speed, there's always danger of, you know, possibly injuring yourself. I've fallen off Onewheel a few times, and you know, I just had minor bruises and scrapes, nothing too serious. So, but I feel like the speed is, you know, the factor of seriously hurting yourself. If you go 10 miles per hour and you fall down, you know, most likely it won't take much. You won't have enough momentum to seriously injure yourself. If you go about 19-20 miles per hour, like you could hit on the XR, you probably could break a bone or get seriously hurt. So, you know, I'm wearing knee pads and helmet. Muddy and wet. My soles of the feet are hurting a little bit. See if I can go a little faster. So talking about the range, you know, whenever you're taking Onewheel Pint off in the wooded trails, once you know, I weigh 185, sometimes 190, in that range. Consider myself medium weight, medium height. You know, once you make 2 miles, and I fell off, muddy. Whew. Man, my tire just slipped off. Yeah, the traction is not the best. I'm using the stock wheel. I don't know what it's called, Vega or something. But yeah, the surface was muddy, just total slip, no grip. So another factor for me not to go too fast today. And I stretched out my hip. Whew. Yeah, I better not go too fast. And I wasn't even paying attention to the trail. Didn't notice that it was wet right there. So yeah, wet trails easily slip off. So I'm gonna go extra slow today. I'm not. Let's see how many. All right, I'm at 62%, 1.9 mile. Okay, so whew. So you see, I don't have the what do you call it? The protection. You can cover your wheel, and that will prevent. My socks are all dirty, as you can see. The what do you call this? Jeez. Not gutter. Oh, is it gutter? Maybe gutter. The cover for the wheel. You can cover your wheel up and it prevents the dirt from spitting out and the rocks. Which if you take this on rainy or, oh, I'm slipping already. Wet surfaces, not a good grip. Don't see any mud here, so I'm gonna go a little faster. It's muddy again. So if it rained the day before or something and you go out on the trail, you will get muddy, wet. Man, these wet trail surfaces now got me worried, because it's easy for the board just to go slide towards one way and lose traction of the board. But this is fun. I've never been snowboarding, I've been skiing, but from what I heard, and that's what it feels like, is I'm kind of snowboarding through the forest. And maybe since I got one wheel and I know how to use it now, if I ever go to a ski resort, maybe I am gonna try out snowboarding. And you know, Onewheel Pint, they advertise it as for kind of urban city, and that, I completely agree with this advertisement gimmick that they use, because you know, you can actually make easily 6 to 8 miles on the you know, a real road, not on the trail, but on a real road. And you know, if you have a quick charger, you can charge this board in about, you know, less than 40 minutes, if not less, and you're good to go. So you can stop at the coffee shop or somewhere where they have a charger. That's another thing that you need to think about. But it's lighter, it's not as long as the Onewheel XR, so you can just grab it easily and take it with you anywhere you go. They even have like book bags for this thing. Okay, I see tons of puddles, and I'm probably see what my battery life is like on the Onewheel. Okay, I'm at 58%, so I'm gonna go ahead and turn back around, and that should take me straight to the car. It's a little too muddy for today to go one-wheeling, but I decided to take my GoPro, and I'm like, I'm gonna record a video, do a little review of the board. I've had it since right after Christmas. I don't, oh, fell off. So sometimes if you go up the, you see there's tons of rocks here. If you hit a big rock, the wheel might not go over it, and you might nosedive. But at slow speed, you can catch yourself. You go fast, and it's totally different mechanics. It's harder to catch yourself from face planting. And I have face planted, but the instances when I face planted, I did not obey the battery's life. Once the board, there's a light that is blue, means it's, you know, equably charged, decently charged. Yellow means the battery life has fallen below 20%. And red means it's gonna start to lift you up in order to sort of make you stop using the Onewheel. And I thought I was gonna be smart and turn it off and go on the yellow. Okay, once the battery drains, it's not a good idea to, you know, turn off and turn the board back again, because the battery life shows you it goes usually back to yellow instead of red when you first turn it on. But that's misleading, because it is technically probably on red, like out of juice, and the safety mechanism is not that great once the battery is depleted. So it has that extra juice at 5-10% of battery left in order to safely, okay, you heard that noise? It went beep beep beep. That means I'm at 50%. So it had that little signal to tell me that I'm at 50% in order to turn around. But if you don't turn around earlier than 50%, you're gonna be walking with the board. But it's not a huge walk. Maybe a quarter of a mile is the most you might be able to walk if you turn around at 50%, because the battery starts to slowly die at 10%. It's just, you know, you can feel it too. I wouldn't say it might be a slightly more wobbly. The sensors get weaker. So having a decently charged battery in Onewheel is very important. All the safety features are able to fully operate. I'm gonna go extremely slowly here because it's all wet. So I actually didn't make it, it's too wet. See my tracks? Man, I'm dirty. Yeah, once you're in the muddy thing, this board, you can get a trail tire. I've seen it on YouTube videos, and I saw on the reviews that traction is so much better. From what I hear, if you're doing trails, that's the way to go. Get another wet mud. But I feel like with traction, once you get better traction, the battery life depletes quicker too, from what I hear. So, you know, you might be shortchanged maybe half a mile or a mile if you get the treaded tire on this. And I don't even know, I've seen videos of how they change the tires. I don't even have an idea how to take the board apart and put the tire on here. But from what I've heard, depending on how much you ride, the tire can last you like 4 to 6 years, which is probably how much the battery's gonna, the time the battery's gonna last too, before having to replace. And hopefully Onewheel, they don't talk about battery replacement, but hopefully they have something for the battery to be replaced. It'd be nice to be able to send your Onewheel, I don't know how much that would be, to the company and have them, you know, inspect it and put the new battery on and maybe change the tire and send it back to you through FedEx or something. Slipping again. It's just too wet. I mean, you can plow through this. It feels like, to me, even though I've never been snowboarding, it feels like you're snowboarding through the forest, which is a nice feeling. And I feel like with the Onewheel Pint, you can carve more, like go from side to sides. Yeah, I can feel when the tire is slipping, you can tell the sensor's trying to establish the traction. It goes So let's see if I turn around at about 58% of battery left. Let's see if I can make it back to my car without having to walk with the board. Which one time I went like at 50%, maybe 48%, and I was going mostly downhill on the trail, which is fun. And the tricky thing is also when you're going downhill, the battery is not used up that much because there's a system, regenerative system in Onewheel, where it can actually self-charge itself if you're going downhill. It's I don't know if it's a gimmick. You know, the most I've ever regenerated the battery life was 3, maybe 4%. And I don't know if it's through braking, kind of like hybrid cars. You know, but when you're going uphill, the battery quickly starts to, you know, be used up. And if you're going downhill and you turn around at 50%, you're gonna make it, maybe you'd be lucky if you get halfway through back. So you're gonna be walking, you know, a mile, maybe mile and a half. And I think the weight of this Onewheel is a pint is 24 pounds. If you start walking with 24, 25 pounds on one side, you know, short distance, not a problem. Long distance, you're gonna start to feel your muscle being pulled. It's like, you know, walking around with a heavy bag of groceries on one side. So, you know, 24 pounds, it's not light, it's not heavy, but once you start walking with it for over a mile, you're going to be switching your hands, changing your hands, grabbing it from one hand to the other. It gets heavy. So, you know, for what I do, it's plenty for me. It's a quick kind of outdoor activity, get out, you know, spend time in nature. You know, I love woods. There's something about being outdoors, you know, just being outdoors, but there's serenity, calmness about the woods, just feeling connected with the nature. I feel like the more, you know, our society is trying to spend more and more time indoors with this COVID-19, you know, just fighting the screen time, not to be on your screen time, which, you know, sounds hypocritical because I'm recording myself. I'm probably have to put it on the, edit this video somehow, maybe a little bit. But let's see how much battery life we have. Now I'm at 30%, did 3.2 miles, so maybe we'll do 6 miles. I'm going slower. Another thing, if you're plowing through this, if you're going like, you know, if you're maxing out the speed on the trails, the battery life depletes quickly. If you go slowly, your battery is going to last longer. I guess maybe the traction's better. You'll make more miles if you go slow. So that's another reason why. But I'm going extra slow. Typically I go a little faster. It's really wet. The trails are wet, and you know, I already fell well, sort of got kicked out of the board twice, so I don't want to risk anything here, so I'm going slow. And I have the stock tire, which is pretty much a bare tire, so there's no traction on here, very little traction. It's not treaded. You know, the Onewheel Pint, I think the cost of it is $950. They say it's not a toy. It's like a sporting tool almost. I know it's not a sport, but it's kind of like buying a snowboard. You know, I'm almost 40, not 40 yet, but getting there. I was like scared that, you know, purchasing Onewheel, maybe I'm too old for this kind of stuff. But I don't think so. I've seen on YouTube videos 50-year-olds riding Onewheels. So, you know, as long as you're healthy and, you know, I feel like riding Onewheel is very doable. You know, there might be some dangers involved, but I feel like go slow, wear protective pads, and you should be fine. See, the funny thing is, since I don't have the protective cover for the wheel, there's a blue light means the battery's still, you know, decently charged. Yellow means you're getting close to stopping point, you're at less than 20%, and the red light turns on when it's 10% or less. But I can't see my light because it's covered in mud that is kicked up by the wheels. So that's another thing, is if you buy the wheel protective cover, you know, I bet you can see the light better. But you can use your phone and look from your phone how much. Okay, I'm at 23%, so I'm still at blue, and I notice once it falls below 20%, the board, and also I think it gives you a little warning sign too, like a little noise that you can hear on your phone. I don't think there's any speakers on the board. I think it's when you Bluetooth it to your cell phone, the app makes the little noise. See, maybe I'll go to Starbucks, charge this board again, and go at it again. Rocks. know if I have a towel in the car. That's another thing you should always bring if you're going on the trail, almost anywhere too, because this board attracts leaves, sand, clay. Bring a towel. You know, I never actually clean my Onewheel, but sometimes I'll towel it off. And there's tons of mud. Let's see if I can make it. I'm using GoPro Hero Session, which is cool because it's like the smallest camera, Session 5, I think. It's like the smallest GoPro out there, but it has no screen, and good luck connecting this thing to your phone. It's always spotty. But the cool thing is the size. I mean, this size is so small, and you know, between GoPro, like I think this is Hero 5 Session 5 and GoPro Hero 5, I don't think there's much difference, but there are compromises. The battery life, not being able to see the screen you're recording on, you know, the angle of the camera. And I hate turning this thing, connecting it to a phone. It's not a perfect design. So you're kind of like recording and hoping the angle of the camera is good. Technically, I could use my cell phone too, put it into a stick. First time I noticed the selfie sticks, the poles that was in pairs. So went on a honeymoon, took my wife, and okay, I'm at yellow, so that means I reached less than 20% of my battery life, and I heard the little noise, so I thought it was kicking me up, but it's not. It's still on the yellow. So yellow, you can still ride for 5-10 more minutes, and then it's kaput. Another cool thing about Onewheel Pint versus Onewheel XR is okay, it's lifting me up. That means the battery, I reached my capacity, and I can try to push it. This is where you can pay the price. You push it, but it's better just to obey the red light. And I'll show you right here. The red light means the battery's pretty much dead. So I left at 58%, and I'm almost at my car, but not quite. So I'm gonna have to carry this thing. Turn it off. And I'm gonna have to walk this a little bit. Let's see. Another issue is word that might be forest ranger. On a lot of trails it says no motorized vehicles, but you know, they have e-mountain bikes, and it's a question like, you know, can you take these things on the trail? Is that legal or not? Are you gonna get in trouble or not? So this is my Onewheel Pint. It's got the handle right here. Grab it and carry it. I'm like 5 minutes from my car, if not less. So, all right, That's my review of one wheel. All right.